You're listening to Systemic Error Podcast. The failure was designed.
Strategist calls Trump too stupid to know what he's talking about, based on an article by Sarah K. Burris. Trump's communist punchline is a power move, not a gaffe. The source material. The article gives us a familiar Beltway diversion. James Carville and Al Hunt mocking Donald Trump's ignorance after Trump blurred socialism and communism in public remarks. Then the Daily Beast adding a separate prediction that his 2026 midterms could force him out by spring 2027. That is the wrapper. The substance is Trump using ideological garbage as stage material. Power is the point. Trump is not an amateur commentator mislabeling systems from the sidelines. He is the president, speaking from the platform of state power. Using the vocabulary of free rent, free food, and communism destroys everything to toggle between cartoon populism and anti-left panic. The institutional power here is not Carville's podcast mic. It is the presidency and the right-wing political machine that benefits when confusion is turned into a weapon. Bluster is the tool. The article treats the question as whether Trump knows the difference between socialism and communism. That is the least interesting question available. The more important one is whether the sloppiness is functional. The source itself suggests it is. He can toss out contradictions, flirt with mock communist fantasy, then snap back to anti-communist fear-mongering in the same breath. That is not analysis. It is agitprop by improvisation. Carville picks the safe target. Carville's response is designed to land as an insult, not a diagnosis. Calling Trump stupid is satisfying because it shifts the conversation from power to personality. But stupidity is not the central crime here. Deliberate political damage does not become harmless because the speaker is unserious. When democratic commentary stops at ridicule, it lets the real structure off the hook. A political movement that profits from anti-communist hysteria, economic fantasy, and the cheap thrill of humiliating opponents without governing honestly. What this framing covers for. The story's weakness is that it elevates pundits sniping over political function. Trump's communism-socialism mashup is not evidence of depth. It is evidence of contempt for precision and confidence that his audience will follow the emotional cue rather than the argument. The point is not coherence. The point is permission. Permission to lie crudely, to define enemies by label, and to keep the conversation trapped in his register. The larger pattern. This is the modern right's preferred method of rule. Flatten every serious question into a culture war insult, then use the noise to avoid accountability for actual power. The democratic response cannot be only mockery. It has to identify the machinery underneath the clown act. Trump's vocabulary is sloppy, but the politics is disciplined. Confuse, ridicule, dehumanize, repeat. That pattern matters more than whether he can define communism on demand. You've been listening to Systemic Error. Thanks to Alternet for today's article. With the automated voice of Leibertz, our thanks for listening.